Hello guys, how we all doing? If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and consider liking the video. I got some incredible bets for today. As you can see on the screen right now, I've selected 6 games for today that I think there's quite a bit of value in there that I'm going to be going through. So yeah, let's not waste any time with this one. Let's get straight into the Wolves and Leeds game. So as I mentioned, we're going to kick this off with Wolves v Leeds. When we look at the head-to-head stats, we can only really look at one game, which was the first fixture between these two clubs in Premier League. Last year, Wolves coming over 1-0 win. If you look at that fixture by itself, you can see that obviously both teams had at least one yellow card, one goal, nothing really incredible. And when we look at the team's performance as well in the previous games, you can see that Wolves have been getting a few yellow cards. Same with Leeds as well, 2 yellow cards here against Arsenal, I believe, here. And I feel like this is going to be one of those games where there will be quite a few yellow cards, simply because these teams are literally pretty much joined together on the 2 points separating them, and a win for Leeds will take them above Arsenal into the 10th, and with Wolves closing their gap and putting it up to 11th. So I feel like this is going to be a tight game. Neither teams have been in a really good run of form. Both teams have been doing pretty okay. So yeah, I feel like for this one, is a bet like over 0 cards for each team is quite solid. But as I always do, I will show you my selection at the end of the video. Now the next game I'll have a look into is over in France in Ligue 1, and that's between Brest and Lyon. Straight away, when we look into the head-to-head side, you can see that the last 4 games have had at least 2 goals in them. Obviously, once again, the games are outdated, so you can only be really looking at the last 2 to 3 fixtures. But even then, over 2.5 goals seems like a decent shout. Brest have been quite good at home, and Lyon been really doing well away. When we look at the league table as well, both Lyon sitting at the top of the table, 1 defeat in the last 5 games, whereas Brest only got 1 win in the last 5 games. So you could also go for a Lyon win, but because they're away and the head-to-head stats don't really tell us a clear winner, obviously there's a draw here. You could go with Lyon draw no bet, but with this one, I would personally stick with over 2.5 goals for this fixture. Now we're going to move over to Germany in the Bundesliga for the game against Bielefed, Wolfsburg. When we look at the league table as well, Wolfsburg are up in the Champions League spots right now, and Bielefed are up in the relegation zone. When we look at the head-to-head stats, you could say Wolfsburg have been dominating this fixture, but once again, these 3 games are pretty outdated, even this one to be fair. So the only really thing that we could be looking here is goals. Obviously, Bielefed gave a really decent game for Bayern Munich, and to have Wolfsburg themselves have been on a quite good run. Their away form is quite decent, and Bielefed home is a relegation, but they do have 2 wins. So this one could be an interesting bet. I once again I would avoid betting on teams, and I would go with at least over 1.5 goals. Depending on how good the odds are for over 2.5, I would maybe consider having a little 5 or a 10 on over 2.5 goals for this one. Now, when we look at Italy and we look at Serie A, you know what already I'm going to go with, and that's going to be a cards bet. When we look at these 2 teams and their head-to-head stats before, you can see that both teams do love yellow cards. 2 yellow cards here, and when we look at their previous fixture, so for Sampdoria v Fiorentina, you can see that Fiorentina do love a yellow card here. Same with Spezia and AC Milan here as well. 2 bookings in the first half with a booking also in the second half. So for this one, I'm going with over 1 card each for each team. The odds for that is quite good, and I feel like that's a pretty solid bet for this one. Now we're going to move over to Italy once again in Serie A between Cagiliari and Torino. When we look at the head-to-head stats, you can see there's been quite a few goals flowing in over the last couple of years. 5 goals here, 6 goals here, 2 goals here. Both teams scoring as well, so that could be a very decent bet in itself. Both teams have been especially Cagliari have been on a horrendous run of form. Torino haven't been too bad. They drew their last 5 games, which is quite incredible. Cagliari home form is horrendous, and then when we look at the league table, those teams are pretty much stuck together. It's a relegation battle game, so it should be quite interesting with this one, but I think I'd be going with both teams to score and potentially over 2.5 goals, but I feel like both teams scoring is a really solid bet for this game here. However, you do have to account for the fact that Cagliari have not scored in the last 4 out of 5 games, which is a bit of a interesting one. So maybe even Torino to score over 1.5 goals could be a good shout here. But the thing is, you never know, because they did play against Atlanta, Lazio, Sassuolo is the game they scored, and then Genoa and AC Milan And out of all those teams, Genoa is the one that sits the lowest, and that is in the 11th place. So you never know with this one, but I would stay with potentially Torino scoring or draw, Torino win for this one. And now, last but not least, we're going to move over to Spain and La Liga for the game between Betis and Getafe. From the table, you can see that obviously Real Betis is sitting just outside the European qualification spots, with Getafe sitting quite comfortably. Well, not really quite comfortably, only 3 points above relegation zone. So, yeah, that really isn't comfortable. A horrendous run of form. Real Betis having an okay run of form. When we look at their head-to-head stats as well, this is quite interesting because Getafe have actually won their last 2 games. So it could be pretty interesting in here because Real Betis only drawing 1. So out of their last 5 fixtures, Betis only drew 1 and 1-0 and lost 4. Which is quite weird because they are the clear favourites for this fixture, especially since they're at home. However, when we look at the head-to-head stats as well, when we look at the in-games, you can see the amount of yellow cards that have been flowing in. So you've got 4 yellow cards here, 3 yellow cards and our second yellow here resulting in a red. And then that's been pretty much the pattern for all of the head-to-head games here. So I think for this one as well, we're going to stick with over 1 yellow card for each team. That's quite decent. But nevertheless, let's get into the bet slip. I'll show what these bets actually look like. So guys, as you can see on your screen right now, I got the 6-fold accumulator here with the first game being Wolves v Leeds. We've got over 0 cards in here. Also, you could spice this up with some goals. I feel Leeds will be leaking some goals, so I feel like something like over 1.5 goals for Wolves could be a really solid bet as well for this one. The other game we got is Brest v Lyon with over 2.5. Then the Bundesliga game with over 1.5 here. Then I got the builder here for the Fiorentina v Spezia cards game, and I did add up over 0 cards in the first half. Both teams have reputations of getting yellow cards in the first half, so 1-2. And then we got the other Serie A game with Cagiliari Torino with over 1.5 goals. And I'm finishing it off with a bet builder for the Real Betis Getafe game with over 1 cards for each team. This is a nice 1-10 accumulator, but I also say, don't bet on all of them. Pick out maybe 2 or 3 games you like the look of. I'm personally going to be going with the Fiorentina, Wolves, and potentially the Real Betis game as a free-fold. But, it's up to you. Do your own research, double check my stats just to be safe. And yeah, go with your feeling as well. Always trust your gut. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here. It helps me, helps the channel grow massively, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's it for me for today. I'll see you for the next episode tomorrow. Bye bye.